So sounds in music are defined by pitch and duration. Every sound has a particular pitch and has also a particular duration. The pitch here is definite frequency. So like we found when we went to the keyboard earlier on, and we heard A, we heard B, we heard C, and so on. But you have different A's, different B's, different C, and you don't just have one particular A, one particular B, and one particular C. So there are diverse. You have different pitch, different frequencies of A, different frequencies of B, different frequencies of C, and so on. That is why you realize that you have much more. You have several keys when you look at the keyboard: A0, A1, A2, A3, just the way it is. We'll get to pitch notation in some other lessons. So, but sticking to our lesson on key naming and key nomenclature, now that we know that the keys are grouped as white and black, and we know that the names are going to come from these 7 letters of the English alphabet, and we know that these names or these keys represent actual sounds, and we know that these sounds must be of a particular pitch. That means that this sound which we get to hear, it's not just one. You're not looking at just only one A, only one B, and so on. There are several, and that we are going to talk about duration much later. That is how the length of each of these sounds when you bring them together in making music, but that is going to come up much later. So now we know that this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that is where the names of the keys are going to come from. It becomes needful to begin to know which is A, which is B, which is C, and so on. So to help define the keys in music, just a little recap. We say the keys are grouped into white keys on the piano and then the black keys. And we say the black keys are either sharp keys or flat keys. And for the sake of emphasis, this is the symbol for the sharp and this is the symbol for the flat. The white keys, we say they are called natural keys. This is the symbol for the natural keys. All right, so now it is needful to understand which key is what key is exactly C, what key. That is where everything it begins from. Learning to play the instrument, you must know what is the key. You are told to play C, but which key is C? You are told to play F, which key is F, and so on. 2 important landmark keys we are going to be speaking of will be key C and key F, and they help us to exactly name every other keys. So C may be defined as the white key that is just before the group of 2 black keys, and F will be defined as the white key that is before the group of 3 black keys. So just let's go back to the piano keyboard and look at what we're talking about. Look at the keyboard. You find that we said earlier on white and black keys. Now observe that these white keys, the black keys rather, are grouped into 2s and 3s. Groups of 2s and group of 3s, groups of 2s and group of 3s, 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s, just that way. Now this is what we meant on the board when we said white key before the group of 2 black keys and white key before the group of 3 black keys. So you find in this arrangement, this is 3 black keys, there is a white key that is just before the group of 3 black keys. There is a white key that is just before the group of 2 black keys. There is a white key just before the group of 3 blacks, white just before the group of 2 blacks, and that is the arrangement. That's the anatomy you find when you look at what you see when you look at the keyboard. Any keyboard at all, white and black, and the black keys are arranged into groups of 2s and groups of 3s. Now the white key that is just before the group of 2 black keys is known as C, and the white key that is before the group of 3 black keys is known as F. In everywhere you find it, white before 2 blacks, that is C. So you could find that, like mentioned earlier, we have several C's. C, white before 2 blacks, 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 white before 2 blacks. So that is quite a number of C's here. C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Just quite a number of C's. F white before three blacks, white before three blacks, white before three blacks, white before three blacks, just like that. Now they produce their definite sound and at definite frequency. So this C here produces this particular pitch, and this C here produces the same C but on a different frequency and therefore a different pitch. Okay, so once you've been able to name your C and F, they are the landmarks of emphasis. You are able to name the others. Just read your ABCDs. So once you read C, what follows becomes D, what follows E, and you see F just falls into the before the group of three blacks. Then G, then A, then B. There is no after G. There is no H. Remember we said A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it gets back again. It goes back to another A. Just starts that way. Again, what we mentioned earlier, that there are several A's. So C, D, E, F before the three blacks, then G, A, B, and C before the two blacks. All right. So today we just want to see how much we can emphasize on the names of the keys, and we do hope that you got something out of that. Thank you.